Look at this beauty! This is the real thing. One of the most valuable medieval items we have in Czech Republic. Crafted at the end of 14th century, so it should be in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which takes place in 1403. And you can see it even today in the Cathedral of the Sedlec Monastery in Kutná Hora or Kuttenberg. But first, hi, I'm Kuttenberger Martin. I have a master's degree in history and I'm a surveyor of historical buildings. First, a little disclaimer. This is my last video before the game's release, so same as all the other videos I made so far, I'm not sure what we really see in the game, obviously. But it would feel as a missed opportunity if this item is not there. So let's assume it is present in the game, and if for some crazy reason it is not there in the base game, Warhorse have a great opportunity to add it anyway in the Sedlec Monastery DLC, which was already announced. So I'm pretty sure the Monstrance of Sedlec will be in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sooner or later. Now, what are actually the top 3 most valuable items in Czech Republic? First one is Crown Jewels of Bohemian Kingdom, second, Reliquary of Saint Maur, and third, Monstrance of Sedlec. I will first tell you a little something about those first two, but feel free to jump ahead in the chapters under the video for the part about Sedlec of Monstrance of Sedlec if you are not interested in these other two. So, let's go! Crown Jewels of Bohemian Kingdom. It's a most valuable set of items, because it's not just one, that we have in Czech Republic. Core of this set are 3 items: Crown of Saint Wenceslas, Royal Orb, and Scepter. Some people count to this set also this cloak or reliquary cross. It was made by Charles IV, so the father of those 2 fighting brats, Wenceslas and Sigismund. You know which one? Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor. He had a long and successful reign. From the KCD1 intro. He made it in year 1345 to 46 for his own coronation, and he did this trick that all the Bohemian and Moravian and so on lands he dedicated to this crown. So the crown was the most important part of this set. Not to his House of Luxembourg, but to this piece of jewelry. So it had a huge symbolical power. Because if you played, for example, Crusader Kings, you know very well this problem that if your character died, the ruler, you had this empire divided between his kids or sons, and it's quite a mess. Well, now you had this one item, iDividable, so the crown, and who inherited the Bohemian crown, he inherited all the lands that were under it. So it's pretty clever, right? So it could not happen, for example, that 2 brothers inherited first one Bohemia, second one Moravia, and then they become separate states. Not that it ever happened before, but Charles IV ensured it can never happen. That's the meaning of the term lands of the Bohemian crown. It was a thing until 1918, so the dissolution of Austro-Hungarian Empire after the First World War. So even many centuries later, when the Bohemian Kingdom was swallowed by Habsburg Empire, there was this clear part of the monarchy called Lands of the Bohemian Crown, which everybody knew. And every Habsburg ruler had to travel to Prague, kneel in St. Vitus Cathedral and be coronated by this crown to be respected as a lawful ruler of this part of the empire, the Bohemian Kingdom. So that's a pretty clever thing this Papa Charlie did, right? And so in 1403, when the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 take place, crown jewels were probably in Prague. Because I told you in one of previous episodes that the Prague was the political center of the kingdom. The crown jewels are the physical representation of that, and taking it away, it would definitely upset the people of Prague, and we would probably read about it somewhere. So it would be like moving White House to Miami. So Americans would be like, is Miami now our capital, or what's going on? It's So that's why I suppose the crown jewels were in Prague in 1403. And also Prague was Sigismund's ally, so I think he would not dare to take it away. That said, in the game could be crown jewels in Gutenberg, and I would not really be upset about that, because that would be understandable too. Sigismund is contesting the Bohemian throne, so it makes sense that he would like to have this physical representation of the power over the Bohemian kingdom, so this crown jewelry and the crown itself especially, that he wanted to have this by his person until the civil war is over. So if he's in Gutenberg, then it would make sense that he has the crown there too. Nice fun thing would be if it is in the Italian court in the game, because, well, where else it would be? Sigismund is also there, probably. Then if you come to steal it, you would have to lockpick 7 locks, because today there is this theater around the crown jewelry that you have 7 different people who have each one key, and to open the safe where it is deposited, they all have to meet. So you have the president, prime minister, mayor of Prague, archbishop, chairman of senate, chairman of the chamber of deputies, and head of priests by St. Vitus Cathedral. They all have to meet. This sounds like a joke, and actually sometimes it is. For example, when the Czech president comes to this meeting totally wasted, which happened like 10 years ago. It was quite a kerfuffle. Well, but I took quite a detour by this one, so let's move on to Reliquary of Saint Maur. It is this little cottage. It was made in the first third of 13th century, and it was made for Benedictines of the monastery in Florence, Belgium. So it's not really a Czech heritage, right? So how it got here? Well, after the French Revolution, this monastery was closed, and this reliquary was left in some storage in nearby parish between old furniture and other stuff from the monastery. In 1838, it was noticed by Alfred de Beaufort Spontin. I'm definitely butchering the pronunciation, so turn on the captions where I write it right. He bought it and took it on his castle Pečov. It's in West Bohemia. But during the Second World War, this family collaborated with Nazis. So after the war, they fled the country in a rush, and they left this reliquary buried in the ground under the castle's chapel. I mean, it's get better and better, right? So it was underground, and no one except these fled former owners even knew it existed. But then, in 1984, came a guy, Danny Douglas, a trader from US, and started asking questions about buying some unspecified item from a Czechoslovakian state. And it was all weird and raised questions. So they appointed this CSI guys, so this crime scene investigators, to take this case and try to figure out what is going on. And following a series of clues, they found it a year later in 1985. That's the guy who led the group of investigators who found it. Standing next to it, you also have some idea about the proportions of this item. It was in a really bad condition because it was sitting in a wet dirt for 40 years, so it took more than a decade to repair it. Inside are relics, so part of bones of Saint Maur, of course, Saint John the Baptist, Saint Apollinaris of Ravenna, and Saint Timothy of Ephesus. There are 12 reliefs on the roof and 14 statues all around the walls. It's really beautiful. Anyway, you heard at the beginning of the story, at 1403, this piece of art was in Belgium, or today Belgium. So we will definitely not see that in a game. So let's move on to Monstrance of Sedlec. It's one of 10 Gothic style monstrances that survived till these days. Possibly even the oldest monstrance on the world. It's from the end of 14th century, probably from 1380s. It's a gold-plated silver, so it means the main material is silver, but they put gold on the surface. So it definitely existed in the time of the game, in 1403. So for a scale, see this picture where the priest holds it. It's about 1 meter high, but the leg is newer, so don't mind that too much. Now, what is even monstrance? It's a liturgical object used to present Corpus Christi in Eucharist. Well, it's a weird sentence and it made nothing clear. So let's try again. It's a fancy holder which holds these bread chips where, as we Catholics believe, is present our Lord Jesus Christ. So if the church is like a house of God, then the monstrance is like his throne, where you can watch him and admire his glory. So you can kneel in front of it, pray and meditate, but it's hard to stay focused, so you may also think about groceries you should buy on the way home, like this guy. Yeah, that's me in 2011 when the Monstrance of Sedlec was returned to the Cathedral of Sedlec. And yeah, it was quite a glorious day for our little parish. And of course you can see it there even today if you visit the Cathedral of Sedlec. In this place, I would like to thank people from the parish that they allowed me to take pictures in the cathedral because it's normally not allowed. And they even spinned the monstrance for me. So look at that. Whee! You may know the most common monstrances, the Baroque ones that are made as sun. Just in Barbara Cathedral, we have like 20 of them. So you have this Corpus Christi, this body of Christ in the middle, and so it's like the sun, and the monstrance is made like a sun rays around it to focus your attention to the middle. But by my occupation as a surveyor of historical buildings, I'm of course biased, but I really like this one, which is made like a Gothic cathedral. And to be honest, from those 3 most valuable items from medieval times we have in Czech Republic, I like the Sedlec monstrance, or the monstrance of Sedlec most, because look at it, it's really like smaller cathedral. It had all the trademarks, the arches, ribs, flying buttresses, pinnacles. It's really awesome. And yeah, it would be such a shame if it's not in KCD2. Ah, I love it. Anyway, that's all for today. Just a couple of days till release. And yeah, thank you very much for subscribing my channel. I really appreciate it, every single one of you. And yeah, see you after the game is out. Bye. Oh, and please also check my other videos if you are interested in a real history of Gutenberg in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This one is about two most powerful houses in Gutenberg at 1403, but it's a little bit spoilery, so you may also want to try this one, and that's about origin of Gutenberg on the turn of 13th and 14th century, so the century before KCD2.